I'm IIM pass out, and I'm trying to major like last 4 5 years. I've been trying to see like how we can democratize AI learning and also product management. So this is one of the steps that I try to make sure that you will able to learn and you can appreciate overall aspects on it, and how do you actually take it forward and other things. So there were like few things which I wanted to just highlight on from my end. Like we will be trying to cover mainly on the like part by part. We'll be trying to cover like part one mainly into the like more towards like how the overall shift is happening about the vibe coding. Then we'll go into visual AI agent and the building production ready agents, and then we'll go into the question and answers. I'll try to make sure that at the end of the day, you will have some like very good talk, like you have something to take away. And keeping in the view that we are talking about Gen AI without coding as our subject line that we're trying to target on. I'll try to get every aspects that we will be taking forward from there. And major thing which I wanted to highlight, I would try to highlight also in this one, is more related to like how do we actually look into Gen AI as in total, like people, so that you will able to appreciate overall learning, and we'll try to keep it as much as practical experience as possible, so that you will able to learn. So I like to have more interaction, so that we will try to make sure that everyone are being like valued on terms of questions. I'll try to open up in terms of question and answer so that you will be having overall information accordingly. Let me share my screen. Before that, okay. Before that, I would like to welcome you for this, everyone who is being available right now. And let's take one step at a time and then try to move on from there so that we will be moving forward without any editing. We'll try to do it. And thanks for taking time on the weekend and trying to make sure that you are spending some time on the top. Uh, let me see. And we'll utilize as much as time in this one. Like before that, I would like to take a couple of minutes of time to just make sure that everyone are aligned. Like when you actually join this, when you join this session, what is like keeping the view that it's a Saturday and you are trying to make sure that you utilize this time? Just like couple of people or 2 3 people, just let me know what is the expectation that you had when like maybe 2 hours of completing of this session. What is the expectation that you have? If you can let me know, I'll try to make sure that we address it same at the end of that. We'll try to take it forward from there. Anyone want to unmute and just wanted to share like what made you to come to this session? What is your expectation? Because on a weekend, spending 2 hours of time in webinar, you would have thought too about it. So anyone want to unmute, try to share?
Yes, I want to share my expectations on this session. So basically, I have a huge interest into AI, and even I'm working on some of the initiatives in my company. But I just want to understand more about the agent-related stuff where I can build my own agent and deploy it on the production kind of stuff, so that I can leverage the actual agentic capabilities in my current ecosystem. So that's my expectation, and I'm here to learn as much as possible.
That's great, Srikant Pandey. Thanks for letting me know. And it's good that you shared, like, for example, what is your expectation at the end of the session? You wanted one step closer to getting into learning AI, what I understood, and getting into agentic and also understanding. Anyone else who wanted to share? Reason why it is very important to you to share, because at the end of the day you should be very clear why you have onboarded into this one, so that it will be easier for you, like okay fine, did it solve its purpose or not, how you will be there. So we will take it forward from that one. Anyone else before we start the session? So on your point, Shrikant, mainly That is exactly what we are going to cover today. We will first build the foundation, then go look into the visual AI agents, then discuss what makes an AI agent production ready. So by the end of the session, you should have much clearer path on how to build and deploy one. And I'll try to showcase some example so that what I've done, I'll try to explain you and where did I do some mistake. That also I'll try to correct from my end so that you're clear on that front. So let's take one step at a time. Like mainly we'll try to understand how we'll take it forward from there. But before that, I would request from my end, thank you, Dhanushri, to learn something new. That's great. We have to be the place we'll be learning to. And anyone want to just chat, type in, please do it. And if possible, just to make sure that other members know you and they can also connect with you, what I would request would be more towards like, for example, you just wanted to share about like who you are and where you work, how many years of experience. If you want to share, please feel free to share. That way, it is just one step closer for them to understand. Okay, fine. Someone want to reach out, or at least for me, it will be easier to understand a little bit on that. I'm also sharing my LinkedIn so that you have understanding about what is my overall skill set. Let's take step by step without any ado on that front. Thank you, Pandruga, for to enter into AI era. Sure, we everyone are looking into that. So you're in bang on in terms of understanding. So lead QA engineer Srikant Pandit. Thank you. Thanks for understanding the impressive years of experience. So you want to understand how the transition happening. We'll try to get into that level of detailing too. So let me, others please do interact accordingly. We'll try to take it forward one step at a time, and then we'll try to address for a Q&A. We'll try to open up. So main, I wanted to try to understand in this one, like what is the few things like resume, like we will try to see different agents that will building it, and also I'll try to show which has already been there, so that you have two things in parallel that you'll do. What I want to do first is quickly walk you through the structure of today's workshop. We have five parts across like the 1.5 hour time, with two live builds that we'll try to do accordingly. And something I want you to also look into. We'll start with the paradigm shift and the mental model. Then we move into the resume building, or we'll try to see a little bit more into how do you get into the a hiring agent. But after that, we will cover the production, production cost, like cost, latency, and guardrails and other things. But what I'll try to do, because there is a mix of both, we have working professionals and students. I would like to say that they will be like a mix of topics that we'll try to cover up in this one. So pardon me in case you know few of the topics already. Wait for the point where you'll able to learn, because first half of the session I'll try to keep it more towards like we will be having a overall session in such a way we build up into like like both of the people will be covered. What is the current will be around like 70% working professionals and 30% we have all the aspects. So what I want to do quickly is quickly walk you through the structure that we were trying to look into it, and then we will have you can laptop opens not later, break tools, you have ship, ask why, not what. That way it will be easier to like you will able to understand. We'll try to make sure a little bit more towards how we'll go forward. Now let's take one step at a time. The first step that we are looking into it, the paradigm shift, that build the mental model. See, right now we are not getting into code. Now let's understand the like which is the paradigm shift, building the mental models. Before we touch any tool, I want you to understand why this shift is happening, not just what tools are available, because once the mental model is clear, every tool will start making sense for you. So that is what I want you to take away from this session. It's not because, like, for example, which I wanted to keep it very clear, that it's not on different other aspects that we'll be trying to talk on, but you just try to understand that, for example, how we are actually taking forward from them. Let's take it one step at a time, and that way it will be easier for you also to make sure you will able to understand. Now, at any point of time you have any doubts, please raise your hand, and I'll be more than happy to assist you over the period of time, and then we'll take it forward from there. So let me quickly move into the topic, and we'll be doing. So, well, let's um, get into. If you look at this slide, there are three major shifts. First, from code to conversation, where for many use cases, describing the intent is becoming an important as writing tool. Second, from the features to agents, where the earlier users had a click for the screen through screens, but now agent can take a goal and execute towards an outcome. Third, from launching to iteration, where instead of waiting for the long release cycle, you will prototype, test, and improve much faster. So the big idea is this. The advantage is no longer only you can code, but you can also use this tool to ship value faster. So here you have to understand complete things. How the shifting is happening is that you would have heard a little bit more about the context engineering and prompt engineering. Previously, there was a concept where people were talking about prompting. Now the complete context changed into like now things were like, okay, prompting can be handled with AI. AI can write, but the context cannot go wrong. So that is a place where you have to understand that context become very important. So the conversation with that, like for example, you're using cursors or code like Claude Code or tomorrow Codex, anything might come, but you have to understand that at the end of the day, you have to know what is the context and how do you use agent. And agent, I'll try to show you a couple of things so that you'll able to understand on that one on the evaluation part. But keeping to the topic, Gen AI, it's more like generative AI. So this is the simplest way to understand the evolution. You can see L0, it started with prompting, where you ask and it responds. It's simple, like you say, I heard like there was a topic that came up to me saying that you ask and it will able to give you a response accordingly. And now it's like, okay, now you have this one concept where you say that if you ask wrong or if you're not clear about your requirement, then you can think that your answer will not be valid accordingly. So similar way, like what I feel is like you, if you don't ask properly, then you might get wrong answers. So that is a way where I wanted you to also look into it. Like you need to understand where you are actually asking. And that is space where I wanted people to get. And L2 is the RAG, where RAG is more like retrieval augment generation models that you do it. It's more like database where you like, for example, I can think about like it's more like a place where you can retrieve the relevant information. And we'll go into the depth of it, so don't worry about it. And and again, we will go into a little bit into the third one, which is like use tool use, where the model can actually call APIs, search, query, and trigger actions. L4 is about autonomous agents, where you combine the model, tool, and memory, and loop it to your work. So why it is important is about like how do you actually make it. Like I wanted many people I've seen that people try to answer me saying that okay fine, I've gave it a right prompt but it's not able to give me proper answer. So that is a place where we will be trying to understand, and I'll try to show you small video, funny one, where people will able to relate to it what happens. And this is like 10 seconds just for fun one, but you will able, I want you to, what is the overall takeaway which I wanted to give you over the period of time is that it's not about like if you don't give a right, and we have experienced this type of things over the period of time, so you will able to relate to this scenarios. That's what I feel. Let's, yeah. So, so let's get into this, and I mean, if someone is in mute, unmute, please request you to mute so that you'll be there.
जीपीटी मेरी इस फोटो को एडिट करके ऐसा बना दो जैसे मैं बीच पे खड़ी हूँ। अरे पानी के बीच में नहीं खड़ी हूँ, बीच पे खड़ी हूँ, बीच पे सी बीच पे खड़ी हूँ। ये सी बीच नहीं लग रहा है, ये रेगिस्तान लग रहा है। पानी की एक छोटी सी लहर भी ऐड करो ना मेरे पीछे। ये कैसी लहर है? पानी रखो ना समुंदर का मेरे आसपास। इतने बड़े राक्षस दानव जैसे क्यों बना दिए? नॉर्मल रखो ना, नॉर्मल। अरे यार, अब मेरे पीछे किस भिखारी को ऐड कर दिया आपने? एक काम करो, ये जो औरत है इसको हटाओ।
And reason why I wanted to show, it's not about what prompt you're giving. You have to understand that how clearly you're able to explain. And that is the place where I want you to actually take away from that is more related to it's not about, like, for example, getting right prompt or wrong prompt. It's more related to where I'm trying to get you understand is like, okay, it's always not about like you say, okay, do this one, but you need to be elaborative. That comes, the context comes into picture. If you don't give the context right, then you'll not able to get it, like it will able to confuse. It's like a baby where you have to do. And samely, retrieval augment generations, answer stops hallucination. So again, there are some terminology which I'm using it. I know everyone are not familiarized with that. Don't worry about it. I'll try to break it down in smaller one so that you will understand, and then we'll go forward with the automation agents on L4. So now the important point is this: most people focus only on the model. Like today they are talking about Fable, yesterday they were talking Opus, today there was 5.6 model. But in the real systems, the quality depends much more on the context and tool access and evaluation. That is why the context engineering is becoming more important than just prompt engineering. So if you don't know how to communicate, and the video I wanted to show that you are not able to communicate it properly, and if you are able to communicate it and break it down, it is able to generate. If not, you try to just tell it, okay, hey, make me in beach. You try to give a random prompts and expect it to behave clearly. It is very tough. A strong prompt with a weak context will still be a weak results. So even a simple prompt with the right context is something it will help you out. And that's what I wanted to clarify. And you have to understand one thing. Now let's make this practical. Every AI agent, whether no code, handed code, has four parts. First in the brain, which is like LLM. Like the brain is more like when you have like in the brain, what is which is LLM? It's a large language model, and the reasoning engine which you have. This is like a LLM, which is your brain. Second is memory, helps the agent retain short-term conversation context and also long-term knowledge. Third is a tool which allows the agent actually do something like searching query or database. It's like giving some instrument to it so that it can do it and also can do the API. And the fourth is loop. It's like planning execution where the agent is doing. And I can explain you this one like a kid where you have to explain this one if I wanted. You can take a lot of examples in this one. One example which I can think, imagine AI agent is like a smart robot helper. You have a robot helper. The brain, which is there, which will be there on that file, is what it remembers. The like brain is how it thinks, first of all. Like your brain helps you to answer the math question. AI brain helps to understand and decide. Now, memory is what it remembers, like what when your teacher gives instructions and you remember them. Tools are the things that hands like it's like hands. For example, if I ask you to draw, you need a pencil. If I ask you to cut a paper, you need a scissor. In the same way, agents need tools. So it's like your hands doing something. Loop is like a repeating until it's done. So you do the repeated activities to get it. So here we have to understand a couple of important things that really matters here. It's a simple topic that is like reason, act, observe, and reason. This is a loop that we go until it is there. Like for example, let's say first you give the robot a goal. For example, screen 50 resumes and shortlist 10 that match the job description. Let me reiterate. I have 50 resumes and I'll ask to shortlist 10 that match the description. Then it starts to reason. Reason is like questioning. That's the reason many times I say that questioning is very important. It thinks, what should I do first? Maybe read the JD, understand the skills, must have skills. Then it will act. It means it will use the tools like opening the JD, reading the resume, checking the database. Then it will observe. It looks at the result, ask, what did I find? It will able to try the out of 5 skills that you have, only one skill is present in the other person and he has 5. So it will able to have the observation. Then again, it will reason. It will go in the loop. Should I continue or reject this profile? So you see that think, do, check and repeat. Think, do and check and repeat. It's going to do. Why this is important? Because that is a place where it will be there. So if I can wanted to just help in terms of like how the things have been looked into it, you have to understand this. Like, what do you want to walk away in these 2 sessions? If like I already people have answered about it, couple of them said age, like mainly in terms of AI entering AI era, Gunevar, and also to learn something new. Dhanushri and Srikanth also mentioned about agent. He want to talk it. So let's say the way one that we are trying to look into it, that we will be discussing is vibe coding. And vibe coding, I personally feel. So once we understand vibe coding, right? The idea is simple. Describe what you want. AI writes it for you. This is especially useful for the people who don't have deep in coding language and still wants to build something. And before this session, I wanted to build something. So I tried to showcase what was the overall journey. So we will build different applications and we'll try to do that one. And I'll be helping you out on. But I wanted to share this, like vibe coding is like very badly used term right now. Like people like to make fun of vibe coders saying that okay, they build, they don't have any skill set, or do you say that okay, fine, they get breaks and you're not able to understand it better. But you have to understand something very important in vibe coding. It's like context. If you're not don't know what to build and you don't know the context and you're just starting building it, it becomes very difficult. When I say very difficult, see, by like I normally say that where does it actually vibe coding does come into picture is that you should know what you're actually building in, and then you will go one by one step. But if you don't know where it's actually needed, if you know about it, where does it actually break? That also you should understand. And how do you actually build a security level so that you don't lose on it? So you have to understand what to do, what you do, and what tool to use. I'll try to explain this, and I will try to go a little bit into from theory to practical so that you can also try going forward later on. So where does it actually break? It like it breaks when your requirements is vague and you are expecting the tool to guess your business logic. So the vibe coding is not magic. It's a structural instruction and which has been there for a lot of while previously. Only thing is that the person who was coding was not AI, it was human being. So simple thing, like you say a human being who knows coding, your requirements, he does the building, you look into it and you tell some corrections. Is it matching that? So the same thing happened, but right now in place of human being, we have a AI which understands the code better. So if you see this slide on the left is what you do. You type something like build me X user uses RY and it should do a Z. I am trying to give you a small prompt like the simple thing. Build me what? What is the use? What should we do? Then you wait to live preview and give the next iteration, like add this to it and next and next. So on the top right one, what tool should be utilized and different other things we have tried to mention on it. We'll try to also route to connect with models like open router and other things. So, but most important line is that one of the at the bottom, you are not avoiding code, where you have to also see like what you are avoiding the like codes like auto fix its own building errors. Every message keeps state and you will not, you can revert. But I'm trying to say that When you say that you're not avoiding code, but you are trying to make sure that you are decreasing overall time to deploy, like production learning, and still feel that there is level, like in vibe coding, going to the production level, you require a lot of more information that is missing on, that you need to look into it. So that is a place where I want you to also learn and grow forward with it, and we will do that one. So let's take a couple of minutes and then we'll try to build on the top of it so that it will be easier for us to understand. So let's take step-by-step approach and then we'll try to say it. So why the context becomes very key in the vibe coding, because if you don't give context, it will be, and then we'll try to do that. We have few of the tools, like you should know, like when you're talking, when people say that, okay, fine, I'm using this XYZ tool to build it, they should at least have some understanding saying that, okay, what tool are they using and where it actually comes into picture in the overall. So it's like Lovable, which I'm going to showcase to you right now. V0 by Versal, v0.dev, and then we have bold.new and Replit agent. Their costing has been there, what it is actually, like for example, Lovable, slower in complex flows. It's good for prototyping. V0 backend logic thins out fast. Token usage adds up, and the best, it's like best inside like ecosystem that we are looking into. Now, let me just share my screen and we will be looking into developing something as part of the overall context that we were doing it. I'm I had like 2, 3 big applications that I wanted to show, and also we'll try to use different other agents on the top so that you will be able to understand it. And then we'll go into a bit into detailing. So let me just showcase something to you and then we'll be going into it. So let's share the screen, and I'm trying to keep today's session mainly so that mainly to the people who will able to understand and adapt it. It's not like within 2 months, 2 hours of 1 hour of class, you'll able to understand everything and you'll do it. But I personally say that if you did not start, you will start it. If you start it, you'll able to use it in advanced way. So that is the overall thought process which we'll be doing. Let's me get you that part also clear. So this is Lovable. If you anyone did not actually access, try to make sure you will able to build on the top. You can log in if you want. You can just open your laptop and log in. I'll try to give you some prompt. You can try on the time. Also, I've shared you the prompt. If you are interested, you can actually try it. So let's also get into this direction part so that it's very easier for us. And thank you. So let's get into thing is one aspect which I wanted to make sure that you understand it better. So I've given you the prompt and we'll be utilizing it. But as a point where I wanted to get you is more not related to the overall aspects, but we'll try to do this prompting which I've given. So let's say what is required, like what I've tried to get this, paste it this first, and so that it will be easier for us. Like, and then we'll go a little bit one at a time. Build a modern responsive web app called AI Resume Analyzer. AI should let a user paste a job description and upload a multiple resumes and PDF format. For now, I create a MVP with a clean front end and data. Now, this is one point where I try to give the features that I require. A landing page with a simple explanation, a main dashboard where the users can paste a job description, a resume upload section that supports, a result table showing candidate's name, overall match score, a detailed candidate view on the model. So I've given, and this can be changed according to you. If you're good, do it. If not, go to ChatGPT and like just go to ChatGPT. Then you just need to click on like a fine. Like for example, let's say you are very new and you don't. So you just say that I need to prepare, or maybe I'll say I build in lovable as by coder. Do research, give me prompt, what is needed. So what I've done, the first step which I've done, I've just gave a ChatGPT the prompt because I wanted to be more like selective. So writing prompt is one aspect, but I should know what I want, what I don't want. Who is my target users? And how do I want to build it? So it is going to look into it. It's going to see, okay, fine, what are the aspects and what I've shared. You're able to get that overall aspect. Now, what I've done, once it runs, it will able to give you. But now I pasted overall data. Then now what I've done, I'll just use this one. And once you log in, like for example, let's say once you log in into Lovable, you have some 100 credits that you can use, or you can use another plan. You can have like two plans, like that will be there. One which is more related to build and plan. Build is like make changes directly. If you plan, it will first discuss the approach before generating the app. If you choose build, it will directly start creating. But what I want to plan because it is acting as a another person, like mainly my developer. As I said you previously, there was human being who was helping me writing code and building something. Now I have AI agent or AI person which will be developed. So I try to do this. Now it will analyze the overall point. I've just mentioned paste this first because I wanted to make sure you were able to understand properly. And now it starts reviewing the features and the scope, and it will create a plan for you. So it did not start building. You understand? It's trying to understand the plan, and it will take approval from you. And that is a problem with main people. People start to build first and go for. So, but I want you to do the other way around, plan it properly. So, as a product manager, as a founder, as an entrepreneur, you should understand a product requirement document. This acts as a product requirement document. So, here we will be doing this where you have demo ready React app, where you're trying to say with a clean blue, and like it gave you some directions on this. So, this is where the value starts. Instead of jumping directly into building, first review them and accordingly components, state logic, workflows. So before spending credits, the main problem I've seen people doing is that they spend credits and generate code and without any validation. Now you validate the landing page, correct? Dashboard. And also you go one at a time. And that way you will able to understand more better, and this will be helpful to you to get into it. And now once that this look align, then I'll click on approve and it will generate the application. Why we are doing this? Just to make sure that you don't waste token on something that is not actually having a problem. So let's get one at a time. As I said you, then we'll go into the second part. You have the state logic and you have design flow system. If you have something on the top, you do it. And right now I'm just telling you, okay, let me just keep approve. Now, once I approve, it starts. Now, let me go into the chat GPT, the one which we have discussed. Build an MVP to build, like MVP to build best MVP. It has given create a resume area. First version should be what should be there. Current resume, call for actions, recommendation setup, what to prepare. Everything it has given you, and it given you in a Canva. Now you can say me even with like for example, let's say even with normally without any subscription, you can do it with limited credits, but you have to wait. Once you get the data pointers here, now you have to understand one at a time. As I said, you we can copy this one, but don't be blind enough that ChatGPT is going to cover all the features. It might cover some unnecessary features. It can add more features. So that is a place where you have to make sure that you are able to give it, trim it, get back on that permission. And now it is going to prepare your working files and you'll able to do. Till it get prepared, I'll try to showcase how the v0.dev is going to work out. So that way you'll have it. Now, major thing I wanted to showcase to you also was like, I was also looking into, I'll be sharing this 5 security check-in as a vibe coder, you should make sure. So what happened? Mainly, this is something you have to be very clear. Like when you're launching an app using this one right now, you're going to collect the user data. And very important that your app should be secure enough. You can't go to a production ready approximation on that. So that is the reason this is a 5 set of like mainly you have to read this and try to say like there are 5 set of things that you have to check. And this is the place where one of the question also came. If you want to build an agent or maybe application or anything using vibe coding or even with Gen AI, make sure that these 5 checks have been done. Many a times what happened, you do API keys. You have actually built you using API key and you keep the API key in GitHub. And there are like thousands of hackers out there. They're scraping GitHub to get the API keys. And there was one student who was being charged around $51,000 in one day because the API key was exposed to like the API key of OpenAI was exposed. So you have to be very careful about your API key, your customer data, because if your customer data you collected and it has been leaked, then you'll able to like the simple thing that will be that you'll rather than the product you'll be in the court having the legal cases. So what I've done, I've tried to keep this as part, like before you deploy this app, do full security safety pass. And I've tried to give this one because vibe coding, it will not do unless you say. Previously, your developers know that, okay, there is a security aspect I need to take care. I have to see my environment is safer. It's not directly posed. My API keys are not there. That is a place where secret leak prevention, one thing from GitHub, personal data flow audits that you're trying to do so that you don't have anyone using your personal data. Because people keep GitHub to public, maybe to attract okay stars or maybe from developers, but you have to get this done. And this is fine. Like this is a very simple one. I'll try to share you the link of this one so that you'll able to do along with the current PPT. So that way you'll have these 5 aspects like attackers perspective review, think like an attacker trying to break this app. And I've seen many attacks happening to Lovable. My friend spent 2 lakhs of rupees building using the credits, and he built a very good LMS application learning management system. He live made it live, and some hacker from China crashed the application end to end and he has to redo it. And no, nothing like you might have to think about it why it happened. It's like they like it was one in the thousand website he had targeted that. So you have to understand you have to do that when you're spending money. Now you have the website I built on the go that happened. Resume IQ, rank every resume, seconds, shortlist with confidence. Like you want to do a try demo, you do it. We will have the demo part coming into it. You have job description, which you have. And if anyone has a doubt, please post in the chat box. I'll try to answer you and I'll try to open up for the questions at the back end so that people will be able to use it. So you have the job description, you have resume, you have analyzing the top 10, everything is there. And also you see on the bottom, there is the option where enable drag and drop upload. So it will able to give you some feedback and just scroll it at export with richer series, add analysis progress state, and highlight matched keywords persist. So what I've done, I've actually discussed this one because mainly there was one application which we built, which was on a role bridge. And this is something, it's very simple app like rollbridge.versal which was prepared using it. You can see like everything, like for example, if I wanted to get build better applications from your real experiences. Now, for example, if I create an account using this one and you have like, okay, log in, review your candidate profile, role analysis, generate tailored resumes and other things. So once you create your resume, let's say this is something which I prepared and we were actually building on this. I'm giving a random one so that it is easier. I document it, create account. If you do this, you normally, for example, you are able to fetch the data, you are want to do it. And what I wanted to showcase for you is more related to like you might have different use cases. Then this is the better like first version was that, and then I've tried to do it, and then there is like you have to like for example, I created this. You have role page where you light mode, dark mode. Once you click on start it, you'll able to have what type of feedback, how it works. You tying up with some agentic websites, you'll able to have better like you require, and which state of that. Like for example, if you click on my profile, you have all the related information. You can upload your resume and you start interview. And once you upload your resume, let's say I uploaded my resume, it's taking my job discussion as any AI product manager, then experiences, then you have questions, then you have start interview, like you have to have some job description, which I have done. Second 50 because at least it should have something to go forward. And if you're able to have like projects and other things you can write, you give it, it will able to fetch and able to give question, and it will able to give you an explanation cost also. So according to what you have given and paste the format and other things, it will able to fetch the related and failed. Now the major problem with white coding, people fail, which I wanted to showcase, failed fetch. Now, like I built using white coding, I used everything. Now I'm just stuck with somewhere like, okay, failed fetch. What was the issue? Why it is not able to do? And that is a place where you have to understand that, okay, fine. Now I am told to go backward. Okay, where is the error and why what it is returning back? When I say fetch to error, many people, like for example, people open into inspect, they want to look into it, and then you look into that. It's like for example, let's say, then you have to understand. So that is a place where white coding and normal aspects get into problem. That when you upload something and you upload the resume and you wanted to see like okay analyze your resume and other things, that is a place where I have seen people facing a issue. Then rather than rectifying it, what they do, they actually start it again. So that is a place where you have to understand that. Now for example, let's say you are in LinkedIn and you wanted to apply some AI product manager. You have taken the resume in this one JD, and we go back, we paste JD, analyze it, export, like top 10, that ATS one, other things which I have kept. What is the minimum course filter I try to give? What I need mandatory skills. And I try to import or export sort of thing and try to do the analyzing of the candidate. Now you have already few models that you have tried to do and there are suggestions. Now, this is one part of Lovable, which is going on, and you have open dashboards. You want to publish it, you click on here, it will create your URL using Lovable app. You can click on publish, and you can actually say public app, or you want to keep it private and share it again, and you will try to continue. Like what you want to give the logo, like for example, anything that you want to give a logo, you keep it here, it will upload. You want to give a social media image, you can do it and you click on continue. You have the URL ready and you published it. You have done your first web application live. This is one part of it. And you have a URL which you can share with anyone. You have to make sure you don't share your API cost accordingly in this one. You have to be very particular. That is a place we have. So now let's get into a little bit more towards a little on other aspects. Let's understand v0.dev. So in v0.dev, the similar thing happened. Like as I said, the in v0.dev is also the same thing. I've created an application using it. What I've done, I have given it like what type of information is required, what is required by customer. We'll try to look into it. Like I've just given initially, can you please make working model for the back end and front end? I given some requirement of the app, and then it gave some information. Then I gave it attached to Superbase. Then it is able to generate, and then you have related to overall screens, and you play around the screens on the top. Now, let's say if you want to create a new screens and you want to make a working model, then you have a different way. Like adding a Telugu on the top, you want to have a create screens. How do you want to do it? Or else you can actually build a prototype in using Chat GPT or a Gemini or Claude and use it to prepare it. When I say like a static screens and prepare that. And there were like integration that are required for back end and front end. You have to make sure that you align with backend and front end. And I'll try to showcase a working model using cursor. And that is a place where I want you to understand that that is going to change. Now, as I said, we were discussing about three applications. One is more level lovable, which I showed you can onboard, you can write the dashboards and other things. And once you have all the information, you have dashboards and other things. At one point of time, you have this preview, files, and core more. Here you have connectors, payments if you want to add in integration. On the top, you have the code completely here. So you can download the code base and give it to your give it to your person, like for example, developer. For the question, right? I'm not looking like, see, there are two levels of things in this. First is about production ready code. Or second is like rather than previously what you want, you were just telling him. Now I have a code where he can start rather than from scratch. Maybe it's not perfect, but it's a good starting point, what I need. And he will be using these prompts on the top to make it more perfect. So you understand what I'm trying to tell here. Like it's not like your product need, like for example, even though it's not a production ready one, it's a very good one to start with it. So that is a place where I'm trying to get you there. So you have to understand step by step process on. Now there are like other things. Now there are like when I say other things, let's say N8N. In N8N, many a times, like whatever the current one is like more like a text based one. But in N8N, right, what happens? It's more related to you should understand the flow and you have to link it to it. And that is a place where you have a different approach of building it, and you might have to get one step at a time. And that is a place where we will be utilizing our time, and I will be helping you out in this also. But let's not overwhelm with all the information at this point of time. We will use one at a time, and then we'll be building on the top of it. But I'll just tell you what's actually happening and how the things have been moving on so that you will understand. Like, for example, I'm just creating a new one so that you understand how it works out. So, so if I want to keep my name, I try to keep my name, and you have some free aspect initially. So you might have to just look into this. Let's say I've just keep Akshay 03181188. Keep it constant updates. I keep it successful. I start my foot in stride. So now once you create your innate environment, which is one of the important thing that is happening where you have to understand like, okay, you just try to keep it accordingly to your whatever the requirement is there. You just 2 minute setup process, and you want to add and invite your team, you can do it. If not, it is there. It will pop up a small video how to take it forward, and it will set it up on the overall front. But what you have to do, like you have to understand what is your use case. That is the reason why I always say to you, it's like it's not about using XYZ tool and now the in the market you have a third tool and you will be using this. But I want you to understand like which tool is like what you require to build, and accordingly you select it. So that is a fun of building something. And that is a place where we will able to learn properly. Now let's say we are in N8. which is more like workflow automation flow. You have to decide the flows, you build your first agent as such, and you will be building. So I will somewhere I wanted to showcase a voice agent to you so that it will also be there. So we'll take one step again and we'll go into the second part of it, and then we'll build on the top of aspect. So I just wanted to check, is there anyone has any other questions right now? I'm open, like 5 minutes we have to talk about the questions, and then we'll continue with the other topics also on the majorly that we have discussed. So main thing which have we covered up, lovable. How do you as a full stack? We try to say v0.dev the same way. Most of them are the similar way that we were discussing on it. So let's open up for the question, like 5 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, Pranahita, please, thanks for letting me know. You can unmute and let me know your question.
Hi Akshay, how are you? Very good evening.
Very good evening, Pranahita. Thanks for that, and thanks for your kind words. And please let me know what the question you have.
The first thing is your name is very good. I really like and love your name, and the explanation, the way you're explaining is very good. We are able to get it. I don't know how many students are there in the class. I'm not able to get it. But then, yeah, I have got enough of your explanation. But then I wanted to know this lovable cursor replit is there. No, all these are one part of our course.
Yes,
And how can N8 architecture is going to help us?
definitely.
And you know, Akash, I have used lovable cursor and make N8 replit to I have participated in few of the other master classes, and I have made the most of these tools, and I have also created few of the pages what do we say, by using these tools I have created application, but which is not a production ready, and I have made the most of this tools, and I have got exposure to it, but then I'm not able to get into the I even know the earn credits. I have got two options. I have got two chances. What is that you're showing in the left side component? No, the subscription one and this thing. So I have got two chances to make the most use of make and lovable cursor. I have made the most of these, but then I have even participated in one of the topmost professors master class, and I have even created one of the N8 architecture workflow execution, and after completing the workflow execution, I have got the email. I have got the email to my email right in my inbox by using the N8 architecture workflow execution. And for that, we have made use of Google Studio API external keys, and we have used the our email, and that is all for free. But then, yeah, how do we make use of N8 architecture or or connectors in N8 architecture? That is, I have used it. Sorry for
Okay.
that. And how do these three are there? No, lovable, cursor, replit, bolt, make is also not make my trip make.
I
All
know.
these tools are our tools, our Indian tools, but Indian architecture is not ours. So Indian architecture is not linked to this. No, actually, if I'm not wrong, it's something separate. No, because it already has lots of Google companies or organization, external tools, and other. We have got so many other what do we say, connectors, company
De-
connectors, or not agents actually, but yeah.
Definitely. Thanks for letting me know, Pranahita. Like exactly, it's a separate category and item. It works
Thank you.
together with them. Lovable, Replit, Cursor, or V0 or Bolt are mainly the building the application layer, like UI, front end, back end code, or quick
Yeah.
MVPs. N8N is more about workflow automations, like
Okay.
orchestration. It helps you to connect steps, tools, APIs, database. It's like if A is done, do B. Like for example, let's say in terms of building any databases or emails or
Mm-hmm.
LLM calls, we use N8N. And N8N, I'll get you into depth of it. Mainly like N8N is a workflow automation. When you say when you are doing a set of works, you want to automate and you should know what is happening in a sequence. then you can able to do it. And I'll try to
Okay.
showcase in the later part how few examples which our we have it. But to simple way to keep things lovable or cursor helps you to build applications.
Mm. Okay,
N8
got it.
helps you to connect app with actions and automations.
Mm-hmm.
So for example,
Absolutely.
Lovable can build your resume analysis interface. N8 can take the uploaded resume, call Gemini or OpenAI, extract the skills, score the candidate, store the results, send an email. Like for example, if I is uploaded 10 application, I want someone like after selecting, I want whoever this has been selected, they have to get a mail that they have got shortlisted. This can be done with N8, where you're automating
And
that.
then also we can upload the resume and get our score check, right? And then also.
You can do that. But in
Okay, okay.
it, you have to
Mm-hmm.
create agent doing that one and do that one. So it's the same one only. But I'm telling you
Okay,
restrictions how it is there. Lovable can't do that. It's a
okay.
resume interface, right? N8 can do all the aspects also. So they are not a competitor, they are a complementary. So one builds the product, other automates the process.
Yeah. And Akshay, I have got one big doubt. This chatgpt.com slash the URL one is there. No, you're showing the lovable one. In that, whenever we have opened it, in the dashboard one, lovable is there. Lovable, the pink color and purple color
Connect,
one.
connect.
The landing page or dashboard page. Welcome, Akshay. In that URL is chatgpt.com slash, but the login or account dashboard page is welcome Akshay, no? So we are integrating Lovable with chatgpt.com. Is that true?
So I think you got confused here.
Huh.
It is not
Yeah.
necessary. They are
Okay.
separated. ChatGPT is
Okay.
only helping me to generate or refine the prompt. Then I paste the prompt in the Lovable. So they're completely different. But
Okay,
for
got it,
you,
got it, got it. Yeah,
yeah,
thank you so much. Thank
no,
you for the
no.
clarification.
Yeah, definitely.
And Akshay, one more. Thanks a lot for your time and sorry for eating your time. Once this is completed, do we have any precise codes that we'll have to enroll and get our resume shortlisted all by this thing, Accelerator X? Is there any separate course you're coming up with codes curriculum by Akshay Sharma?
Yeah. There is going to
Okay.
be generative
Okay.
AI.
Oh, generative AI.
Yeah, we
Okay,
have an
fine.
agentic AI because I'm a agentic AI expert. So I'll try to have
Okay.
agentic AI product management software.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank,
Thank you so much. Happy weekend.
thank you, Pranay. Yeah, Akash, over to you.
Yeah, hi Akshay. Your
Yeah.
explanation was fantastic. So my question is, you taught us to use Lovable and Cursor and many other things. So shouldn't we can't we directly use Replit only to generate the idea, plan, and even the building phase, all those things, instead of using Lovable, Cursor, and multiple platforms?
You're absolutely right. You can use Replit only like you can use Replit only for idea, planning, and building as well. It can handle all these three in one place. But the reason I'm showing you multiple tools is because one tool cannot do everything. It is because each tool has its strength. Replit is like good for all-in-one options, especially for quick prototype and iteration. But sometimes Lovable is easier for UI first MVPs. Cursor is better for the deep debugging and code level. N8N is better for the workflow automation. So for your question, we can directly use Replit, but you have to understand that the token cost is too high, Replit. You like if you depend on Replit for building everything. I'll try to next I will be showing Emergent also. These tools are little costly in terms of your token because value for money is something you have to look into it. And that is a place where I always say that context becomes very important. What you want. If you're building a prototype, going to Replit is waste of money because Lovable is better. So tool agnostic you should be there. You should first look into what is your use case and for that use case, what is the better one. So for your question, absolutely. Replit can be like a good all-rounder, but not the best one for individual processes.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Right. Anyone else before we move to the another question? And feel free if you're not like vocal about talking, you can just type in. But what I wanted to say that most of you might know, might not know it. But I'll go a little bit more depth right now. I'll try to get you more understanding on that. But what I was wanted to understand, make sure like overall process, what I'm trying to help you out is like We are not looking into tools. Period. I don't want like we talk about tools like okay, today Replit is there, tomorrow there might be emergent, the after tomorrow we might have to. But like I'm telling you the real story. The overall application, app development and app being getting into like Apple Play Store and Google like Apple App Stores and Google Play Stores have increased almost 300x. And the reality is like, you know, people, every second person, you see they are developing two, three apps. In that two apps, right, there are two, three people. Out of that three people, one is himself, one is his wife, a third one is random person who unknowingly downloaded it. Because there are no users at all to understand. It's like the problem is like building app is becoming, but what is the use case? Why you're building for? Is customers are willing to pay for it? Or at least try, if you pay money, are they ready to pay? Look into it. That is a place where you might have to come in to understand better. So let's quickly get into the other one also so that it will be a very engaging one. Next topic is also very engaging. So I'll try to cover this up and I'll open up for the questions again. So mainly, if you see what I've done, I copy pasted the same application and I've tried to give you on this front. Then you say one shot, like many a times there are different levels of prompting that comes into picture. We'll try to do that and we'll try to get understanding on that front. So we have Replit and other things also coming into picture. I'll try to showcase. I wanted to go one by one so that we'll able to understand. Now let's understand a little bit onto one shot really nails it. Like vibe coding is like to understand better. If you see, like I wanted to make sure you understand one at a time. Let's get a small detailing into that. If you see in this slide, the P1, we gave the master prompt, got the basic UI, happy path. App loads, uploads, then Outlook is, like output is still average. Then in P2, we define one thing only, like tightening the LLM output. Because I did not show you the output. Once we get the output, you want to tighten it. P3 is like improving the experience, like adding an empty state, when no resume is uploaded. P4 is like we optimize the behavior, example, debouncing the API calls. So the tokens are not wasted. How do you actually give it a value for me? P5, we improve the usability, like persisting the last five analysis in the local systems. What is the database? How you are actually looking into it to ship ready into the B0. So after that, the main aspect which I want to say that. So what I'm trying to show you here is that do not expect perfection in the first part. Real power comes in the giving the smaller, sharper, and follow-up instruction. Make sure it works. I'll try to show you some real example which I built in, which was a similar app like Jira, which I tried to build. And 2, 3 days I was trying to struggle. I was trying to get it. I'll try to show you what actually I built in, what are the prompts that we used, and accordingly we'll do it. So one another thing to like now let me make this practically with live board, which I've showed you on that one. Now we will like these are the process which we have done, how we have taken forward. Learn this, like for example, as a product thinker or maybe an entrepreneur or as a like even a developer. What I want you to say is that directly don't jump into the problem of building. Building comes next. But for you, learn to spot these common pitfalls before your leadership or your customer spots in. First is that hallway demo problem. It's more related to that. It looks great when you click left and right on the happy path. The moment weird input comes, it breaks. And I'll tell you with my experience, which I'm building an agentic flow for my existing platform, it is going to actually get into, like for example, once the like enterprise level AI modules you build, you understand that it have to be 100% right and it cannot hallucinate. And I'll tell you what is hallucination and prompting also. But you have to understand, first thing is like you have to see that what are the fallbacks and correct them up. Second, never keep the secret key in the client side. If your OpenAI key or any API key is sitting in front of JavaScript, you might not know it. but the developers know that where do it say. They can click on inspect and they'll able to read it. Or in GitHub, you'll have the API key and they'll get it. Just the scraping will help us. Anyone can inspect it, steal it. So you have to like inspect is more related to looking into your code. It is visible in the web. So I'll try to show you how it looks also. Third, POM drift on rebuild. Every new generation can behave like a fresh attempt. Sometimes do undo your previous fix. So when something is working well, poke it, save the version properly, make a other copy. Fourth is like no memory state. Many times people assume refreshing will keep everything, but it does not. If you want history, draft a last analysis, you have to mention it. It does not able to do it. Fifth is about hallucinating. Hallucination packets, like sometimes like what happened with AI, you have to understand that AI improves the library that does not even exist. So there was a aspect where I was trying to do. There was like 1,000 line code, 100 line code that you have written, like AI written it for you. Now you are saying that, okay, I just want that left side box to right, and you observe like 50 lines moving here and there in that 100 lines code, and you observe that only one line was sufficient, and you are like, why did you move this all other things? Because when you remake something, like there is a typical example where they say, when one person says to other person says to some other person, the overall context changes. The same thing happened with AI. You gave something to AI as a first prompt. Now you're giving a second one. Now the dilution starts. So you should be very particular. Sixth is about weak integration. Like vibe coding is very good for UI and fast MVPs. But when you go deep into enterprise APIs, authorization, CRMs, payments, it becomes weaker. You need to contribute, like you have to control the implementation. That is the reason where I said that five prompts are important security level. So for prototyping, it's good and you should not feel bad about it. You have to start somewhere. Start vibe coding from the day one, build and try to learn what are the mistakes you have done. But I personally say, as a product manager and as a traditional product thinker, you should understand what is the pain point you're solving. Is any client is available to solve it? And I'll try to give you a real-time example and we'll try to build on the top of it. So discipline is simple. Click every wrong button, test bad inputs, inspect the console. I know there are a lot of terminology I'm using it, but I'm just trying to say you that you need to understand there is an attacker who is going to make sure once you publish something, he's going to get you down. So you need to be there. So let's get a little bit into the other one, which like visual AI agent engineering, you like your wireframe and other things. So till now we were looking into tools where we describe and build. Here's the approach changes a bit. You wire platform runs. That means instead of writing everything line by line, you drag it. Like there comes the N8 where I was telling about workflow automation. Till now you're just writing like natural language. Now you have set of things you want to join. Like as I said you, like I have like once this agent works to identify 10 out of 100 100 resumes, 10 have been identified. Now once that is identified, what is the next step? I want to send an email. So I'll connect with the Gmail and I'll try to give a prompt saying that send them, they are accepted. What about the 90 people? I'll tell to that also that remaining 90 people send a rejection mail. So you are just telling them. It's like more like connecting the dots. And N8 N starts is like node 8 node. Like it's more like node to node concept. So think as a building the logic visual. One node can trigger the flow, another node can read the input. And here node is more related to like that point what you need to do. You can send a mail and store. I'll try to showcase that one so that you will understand. Main thing which I wanted to give you here is like in NI10, each node is one stop of the process. It's like a stop point and you take a, like for example, let's say if you're going from here to Washington, you either take a halt at Dubai, you either take a halt at Singapore, and then you go to UK, you take one more halt at UK, and then you go to Washington, or you want to take one more halt in New York and then go to Washington, or how do you want to plan that every point you have to think. Like one node can trigger the workflow. another can read the input, another can call any other inputs. So that is why visual workflows are so powerful for business agents. First, the workflow itself becomes specs. Anyone can first, anyone in your team can open the canvas, understand what the agent is doing. Second, you can get integrated almost out of box when hundreds of pre-built connectors are there. Like there are some connectors like ChatGPT is there. There are Gmail like there. I'll try to showcase that. Like in enterprise, it's like Jira tickets. So what are they? N8N, the one which we are talking and we were discussing on it. Then we were like make.com, Zapier, voice flow, and everything. And I'll try to showcase voice agent how to build also. That is a very interesting. You can actually build and we can actually look into it. But I'll try to help on that front also. Like where you have to learn these three things in this. Each step in the flow, first is node. Nodes are nothing but step. That's it. Step by step is called node by node, which is called an item. Now, a trigger an action. AI calls, database reads, email sent. I'm telling a trigger an action, an AI call, a database read, and email send. Every node takes some input from the every step and gives the output. Second is like tools. Tools are things that LLMs or the workflows can call. In a visual builder, tools are often other than connector nodes. So if you connect a Gmail or Google, you want to understand like what type of permission you want and what type of logic you want to build on. So quickly jumping into like how the nodes will be there and other things before we get into it. And as I always say, brain, memory, tool, and loop. This is going to be the hierarchy for any tool that is going to come. Brain, memory, tool, and loops. So if you see the flow on the screen from left to right, the first one is about trigger, which is called webhook. That means something starts the workflow. You have to understand how do you start the workflow. That way. Now comes into the thing. We have started the workflow. Then we have the tools like Google Drive, which we load the job description, load the series. Then comes into picture, and this is something you have to understand. It's very much like webbook is like starting point. Where do you start? Like if you have started a call talking to someone else, you say hello. At what point you have to say hello? Like it's like a trigger. At this point of time, I can say like when other person calls you, you have to start it. Like it's more like in a running race. If they say 1, 2, 3, start, you have to start it. So that is a trigger that is there. Then comes the logic, which is like when you have the tools, right? You have seen the tools, load JD, load CV is the tool, which is Google Drive. You are in the Google Drive, you are uploading it, which is the one which you are talking about logic. The logic which we split the resume into the batches, like tools you have it, you have properly done. Now the logic comes into picture, split in batches, and in terms of resume, and you get into the step by step instead of overloading at once, read the skill set. So you're trying to give. Now the brain is the AI agent. Now you understand where I'm coming. It's building agent is one thing. This is one point of thing. But understanding what is a flow before it and after it is something you need to build. So here it comes into memory, like memory in terms of like which is the knowledge retrieval, like Pinecone. So the agent can pull some past hiring context, or how do you train the model? Then again, we have a logic where we aggregate all the results and prepare the final shortlist. And last one is like, how do you want to do? You want to do it an email or a Slack or another process. As I said, one diagram is basically shows you the full anatomy or like anatomy of an agent. Trigger, tools, logic, brain, memory, logic again. So the process that we followed, brain, we used here, memory, which is Pinecone and other things. Then we have what are the tools we used and what is the loop. Loop is here is like I said about logic. Loop is a logic. Now let's understand a little bit into like there is a word like for example, I always try to talk on this one. like for example, ritual augment generation. Let's understand, like there are some terminology you, if you use, it is like some people will able to understand it better while talking into it. Now you see what I'm trying to talk about ritual argument generation is not like a mystery. It's just what it is doing, right? Like which I personally feel that um, like a kid, if you want to understand, let's say we will try to understand a little bit into that one, like a kid. So like for example, let's say take simple example. If you have, like for example, you have asked a teacher a question like during your topic and other things, and at that point of time you have to understand it, saying that what you are actually onboarding into. And that is a place where you have to get a little bit into, like as a kid, what you want to understand. Like for example, you have a very big problem, so you ask a teacher a question instead of guessing it. Teacher first opens a right notebook, finds the correct page, reads it, and then answers you. What exactly is happening? Like, for example, there is a 100% chance, like she knows or does not know. But if she says you, saying that, let me refer to the notes and get back to you. What is she doing it? She opens into like, okay, which book it has, what is a page, like math equation might be there or history questions or anything. That is like, so first we have all the information, like or like old job description, resumes, feedbacks, documents. This is like mainly you break into small digestible parts which are called chunking. Second, we store these pieces into smart memories, which is called vector database. And I was trying to take in the morning also, I was trying to say that in the vector database as such, you have to think like it's like a library where books have been arranged in a meaning, not just title. So what's happening is, like for example, you read about the book, you know the context. Now you want to divide it into self-help book or maybe frictional story. This is a title. Now let's say I take a genre, like in terms of like having a plot twist, and I ask which books are matching. That is like you keep in a smart memory, like dividing into titles like mystery or maybe thriller or maybe something other is just title. But you want to give a 5 6 line of items of memory, what it is exactly. Maybe it's a love story between two different states of people having love, and they have a marriage, like during the marriage their family did not agree. So this is one genre of the movie if you want, and you can find how many movies are actually matching up with it. You try to keep that. So third is like new questions comes in, agent does not answer the memory alone. Like for example, it will first search the smart library, bring the most relevant pieces, then gives the answers. So simplest way is RAG means, which is retrieval argument. Search first, answer second. It's directly, don't jump into answer. That is why it reduces hallucinations and gives you more grounded answers. Again, I'm telling you, it's about how you're going to search smartly and get answers faster. And that is a place where we will be doing it. Now, let's say each click is less than 60 seconds and how we actually do it. So now let me show you how this looks in a real workflow using an A10. And this is why I say visual agent building becomes much easier. If you see this slide, you can build an hiring agent roughly 10 seconds. 10 clicks, my bad, seconds, not clicks. First, click a new workflow in an item. Second, add a webhook so that the flow knows when to start. Third, connect to your Google Drive. Fourth, download the job description, like the one. Fifth, like fourth, which will be again, you will be connecting with the Google Drive. List the folders. Fifth, add the batches so that the clicks happen. And then we are going to do the other aspects, and then we will be following other things. So it looks like we will use the actual point. So then we'll be moving forward. So let's say like copy this 8 steps, and it's the difference between a smart agent and random one. Like the sixth one in this AI agent node, which I said, which is a brain. that you are trying to say, or maybe the model that you are going to talk. For example, if it is a OpenAI generator, whichever the model that you are using, Claude in the Sonnet. Seventh connection, the knowledge retrieval or the vector stores like Pinecode. So you have to understand a couple of important things, like how you are actually using this overall process. Like for example, we are telling the agent, you are a senior recruiter, you're giving a role. And this React model is something I always say, give a role. Like for example, you are a senior recruitment for a fast growing tech company. You're giving a role. What is the things? For each CV scores it has from 0 to 100 from the JD, give a short, rational, and exact must have criteria. So I personally feel that this ACT framework is something you use for all the required prompting. So what is the action? What is the context? And what you want to test in overall. So action, context, test. Test is like output, what you want to test. Action is something like, okay, fine. What type of action you want to perform? As a senior recruiter, what is action? Then you have context you are building. So what context here you have giving a action is like you are a senior recruiter for the first fast growing tech. What is the context for each CV? And what is the test, which is more like a what is the overall output that you're looking? If needed, what I need. So you are able to look into that. So let's look into a little bit, like I'll try to showcase N8N, but keeping the time purview, right? What I'll do, I'll also show you a smarter way so that it will be easier for you to understand. And we'll also discuss a little bit on the detailing on that a little bit further. But let me showcase you how it works out. And then we'll be moving forward on the next steps. And just to keep the time purview, I'm trying to do a little bit more further for you so that I can also help you with the voice agents. So let's say now you have N8N has this point where we are also looking into agent mode and also workflow, which they have started on recently. Like for example, let's say you are in a new workflow. If you want to say, like, for example, let's say I just clicked on the flow. Like, for example, N8N previously has only workflow automation where you have all the nodes. Now you can talk to it and move on. Like, first step, you clicked here. You want trigger manually or on app event, scheduling, webhook. Again, I'm saying you, I've just entered into it. I'm going to click on trigger. On click, it should happen. Now I clicked on it. You want to say AI, like build automation agents, action in app, data, flow, core, and human review. You say another review want or anything, like you just click here. If you click on AI, this all aspects comes like AI agents, Anthropic, then you have Google, Gemini, guardrails, and then you have all the relevant informations here. Now let's say like human review click it, you have chat, Discord, Gmail. Like for example, when I say human review, you have to understand when some customer emails you, you want to analyze and send him a thoughtful message. Then rather than executing on a click, what I'll do, I'll say executing on the Google. I'll try to log in into it and he'll able to access. Like for example, what you have to do is like click in, sign in with Google, and whatever the email that you want to look into it, you click on it. It will ask for the permissions. I'll try to give all the permission that is required, like read, manage all the informations. Like just to avoid on this one, like you'll get a pop-up where you have to just click on required data and sign in. Let me just showcase you the screening so that will be easier. So you can actually look into this one. You have a pop-up coming on the top. You just continue. Now, what happens? You have all the relevant information. Try to keep. I have my Google connected. What type of message I want. I want to send message or operate. What type of like reply. Mark as read. What type of thing. What is the previous node that I have? Like if you have to understand like what is the trigger that you have. What is the final. So once I connected, I did not give any input to it. That is the reason it's able to say that, okay, I don't have anything input on this. Once we click on this, we have data transformations. Like I want a AI, I can use a template which I want. And this is a place where I wanted to get back to you. Like for example, you have like 7,287 AI workflows already built up. So what I wanted to say is that this is a basic, go around it, understand how to keep what you want, and you wanted it for generating, analyzing, or what type of data you want into AI. And then you try to see like what do you want to transform, other things you understand it better. But as a smart way, what I'll say, it's also to understand like how do you want to utilize the existing one. So you have already some, like there are templates that you can reuse and build on. So for example, this is like automatic job application and status tracking. If you want to, like for example, let's say it's more related to resume keep. You have a relevant workflows that is related, like resume screening and evaluation, LinkedIn job. Now I clicked on resume evaluation and use this template, and I try to import into my systems. Here comes the major one. Like you have all the things, your template has been ready, it's working, and people have already developed, and you're able to, like in this one, you're able to read like AI resume screener for form-based HR automation, this flow, what is required setup, what is a flow that is required into it. So when a form is submitted here on submission of a form, what it want, the CV is uploaded into Google Drive. So what I do, I click here. Like now this is already there. Now what I'll try to do, I'll try to see like, okay, fine. If I'm able to attach my Google Drive into it. Once it is attached, what I need to extract, everything is been mentioned here clearly. Like for example, if I have the Google model also, I'll try to use this. So why I'm just wanted to show this one, or like keeping in the time purview, that I can tell you that you have templates you can utilize. On the click base, you're able to generate it. And also you have something related to like what is the flow that you want to flow and everything. Like this is something people have generated it and they are able to generate it. And you have utilized and you want to keep it in the last one as a Google Sheet. Now, what I wanted to showcase is also a little bit into like this is just one part of it. There is another part to it is like agent mode. What do you want, friend? And that is a place where I was explaining you in also like I can actually say whatever I want in this one. Like say I went here. I just wanted like for example, I've taken this all the points. I took a screenshot of this. Like I for just on live friend I was wanted to showcase. Now I've had the overall flow. Now I just need like for example, let's say I give it to ChatGPT and give me prompt that I can paste in any time getting results. On the top, I need agent also what it need to do. So I also wanted to give this agent thing. So I'll just copy this and agent need to do this. I gave it to ChatGPT or any LLM tool that you want. Yeah, definitely, sir. You'll have it in like once like around 6 o'clock. I'll try to share you the link so that you can follow on that. So once it is there, you copy this, whatever the prompt that you have got it. Now we have the complete information. And I wanted to show you the two ways. One is doing manually, one is using template, third is using the prompt. Now, the prompting, what it does, I gave it a prompt and it will generate on behalf of me the workflows. It's similar to how text we are using and building something. Even that this is going to do overall process which we are trying to say. We have built a form and everything. So where I'm trying to say that, okay, fine, attach the resume, you can attach, you can assume, and what type of flows that you want, you can just mention, it will build, and you can actually use once it is built, is it matching to your like flow or not, you can look into it and change that. And so here what I have done, like if you would have seen, I try to give it complete information in a different way, and it is going to question you. This is the issue that I am facing you. I am able to think in this. Am I able to think properly or not? So real assessment or not. Now what I've done in this one, like we hit as created in such a way, and I'm giving it real assessment of my CV, and I give you. Now it is going to, like for example, whatever the model it is there, it's going to do, and I can have some connectors also. Its connectors are like taking helping from someone else. And I'll tell you one connector and I'll try to help you out on that. But what I wanted to showcase to you is like there are two ways in this. One is like what you want to automate. Like if you say I want to automate a score my lead, process invoices, WhatsApp agent, scheduling social media post, you can actually tell it to you. Like for example, if I say score my leads or process invoice, every morning scan Gmail for a new invoice, use Claude to extract and cross check against that, and Google Sheet. Now I said, I don't want Claude. I want Open AI. Or I want a free tool that could be possible. That could be there. If I want, I need Grok. I just mentioned. Now I click on enter. And what will happen in the backend? I wanted to show. So this is also evolved in one way that you are able to look into. This is one aspect that is coming into it. So what it is in, I'm building a single schedule workflow. Let me load the builder guidance and check the knowledge base accordingly. So if you click on this, you'll see it is actually reading, thinking about multi-system workflows, and it's trying to do on it. And when you actually look into different aspects here, this is the credits that you are been utilizing on the left side. You're able to look into it. This is the AI credits that you have left it. And accordingly, it will create, like for example, it will search for nodes, what it want. It will create on the top of it so that you will able to, whatever you are doing manually, now it is doing on its. This is the next part. Like workflows automations have evolved into the text part, where it is able to pull and you can talk to it and move forward to it. Now I will try to showcase, like for example, what type of node schema it is using. Other aspects are coming in. But you have to understand one step later, where you are trying to see like, okay, fine. Now it is generating the workflows and it will showcase. And I wanted let it take some time. We will also see one more which is there. This is one aspect. You can actually log in into voiceera.json. I'll try to share it also. Now you can create a voice agent from your end. What the voice agent could be, like when I click on voice agent, do you want to have conversational, non-conversational? When you say conversational, it should communicate bi-directional. Non-conversational is like maybe it could say like information. Like today you had a webinar at 4 o'clock. You have a call scheduled at 3:45, stating that today you have a webinar with Akshay Sharma and he's going to join you. Hope you have a good time. That is like a non-conversational. Conversational would be like, okay, are you attending or not? If you're attending, let me know. This is also like non-conversational, but at least asking IVR input, like one or two. Third, conversational is like you have one-to-one. Like for example, let's say Muthu Shiva has a one-on-one connect with me at 4 o'clock. Hey, call was scheduled at 3:45. My reception agent, it will able to communicate with Muthu saying that you're available. Are you available at 4 o'clock? We have a call in 15 minutes. If not, let me know if you want to reschedule. Muthu says, please reschedule. Then it will be my assistant which will reschedule it, which has my access of my calendar when I'm available. And it will check with Muthu, when are you available? He says that tomorrow at 4 o'clock. It says Akshay is fully booked at that time. Is there any other slot that you're looking into it? Muthu says that, okay, Akshay is not available. Then can you suggest any other time? It says that 3 o'clock, will it be good for you? He says yes. So now I want an agent, which would be like webinar reminder. One on. And what type of agent workflow that you want to give, you have to give a prompt. Like, you are a helpful agent. You will help the customer with the queries, doubts. Now, for example, like hello, welcome message. Hello from acceleration. So we are trying to talk on this. And that is a place where I wanted you to also look. Let me just see, I can add others. Now let's see this, and I click on continue, and you can choose which model you want. You can generate LLMs, temperatures. Again, I'll tell you what is temperature. It's simple. If it is 0, it will be very factual. It will not think on the ground. It will not be creative at all. If you increase the temperature, it will be creative. The downside of it, creativity comes with its own diversion from the existing. So you have to understand, okay, that also is one aspect. I try to keep this, continue with audio. I want Hindi, Telugu, Assami or anything. I've selected a model AI for Bharat, which is open source. I try to keep synthesizing. I try to give it what type of voice I want. And I can actually select what type of voice and I can play it and try to see. Like, for example, I kept this, which type of model. I given a description, like speak at a fast pace, slightly low pitch, or what type of thing, and continue. I can actually look into two aspects. Who are my telephone providers? Continue my call manager. How many words before interruption? Hang up your silence, timeout, and also give a guardrail. Don't go off topic also. Like, I can't expect someone talking to 2 hours with my AI agent and I'm losing money. I have to understand, like, okay, fine. If he's not available, timeout. Timeout is like 10 minutes before it ends. I don't want to take more than. If someone is not talking, it will be hold. Hold message delay. Like we said, second to wait the LLM before playing. So I said that start the message in 0.3 seconds, which is ideal. Or you want to wait for 1 second and do it. Then I review it. I click on review agent. Now it's asking to configure, where I say that now one step, like I need to authorize pivot auth or token must be configured integrated to telephone. And here comes a little bit important step where you have to see voice era. We have this voice one also, where we have different providers, telecom providers, because somewhere the call should go, right, or email. Like you have to have voice number also, right? Like you should have a number from which it will able to call. So that is a place where there are some vendors in India for voice calls. Vendors in India where you have to apply a virtual one, where India lot of thing, like for example WebEx and you have other players also, where you click on this. Like for example, Sarvi is one player where I was trying to say. You have to just authorize with their API key or other thing. Like for example, you have to reach multiple people. You just need to sign up with them and pay it. So here, what is missing in this, like, what are the calls that I need to add? Knowledge base for them. If you are talking about like more like a receptionist, it should know about like a, if you are in a hospital, you need that. What type of batch calls, history, analytics, how many calls you want to do. Here comes a little bit into point. I did not integrate it to Wobex or P. If I would have integrated it, it would have fun. That is a place where if I go to Servam, I'll able to do. And that is what I wanted to showcase to you also, which is interesting part, which is the next one. Let me just showcase you the 11 labs, which I have done already. The connection. One second. Sorry, someone was at door. Like I wanted to show you this one aspect where you might feel, okay, this is one way, but how do you train for your own voice? Like I want on my wedding my voice to be looked in. So that point of time, what I'll do, I'll log in into the Google. And this is a place where you have to understand that, like for example, let I wanted to showcase, okay, free pics. I have already created something for you, and so there are like couple of voice. This is something you have to understand a little bit into the system that will be helpful for you. Where you are in the voice, you can create voice 11 labs agent where the same thing which I said, you'll able to use it. Like a support, customer support, front desk receptionist, where I was asked, whereas I was saying you about like a workflow automation sort of thing, you can chat and play around it. Like for example, let's say start. Then you say that greet and intent. The caller want to speak with you, transfer the call. If not, answer the call. So every flow you have kept the same way, or else you talk to it, it will do it for you. So what I covered right now is like voice. Then we covered a little bit into the innate. Now let me go back to the innate and the one which I was trying to showcase. It has prepared something on the top. Now you see the same thing which happened. I've written down. It created for you. Now what we have discussed, I wanted to showcase. It says sign into Google. I just need to sign into my Google account, which I've already done it previously, but it is asking as a verification. I continued it. And whatever the red which you are able to see, I'm just trying to say that are the one. Every morning at 8, which is a trigger, read my purchase order. What happened? Now I have just gave my authorization. What is my purchase order as? Explore AI use case, Mission India, like mission, like it gave some subjects to me which I need to select it. So I kept this. So from the list, I'll say you use case format, and I clicked on. Rather than purchase order, I just mentioned which type of model I have. If you have credentials, go for it. If not, there are some free Grok chatbot credentials APIs that are there. Try to set up. You again log in into the due date that is there for your, like for a chatbot, like any invoice or the thing that you can add it on the top of it. And then you're actually going one by one step at a time, right? This is the place where I wanted to say you are extracting the PDF and the Grok model, extract the invoice, then add the corrections. So everything it has prepared. Now you have to evaluate, like add to the calendar or not. Email the discrepancies for review. Do you want it or not? Now you're seeing everything right here, what we have done. What we have done this one, right? Everything we have given it a point where it is preparing for you and setting up the workflows completely. This is one aspect that I wanted to cover. One is like you can do yourself for practice, but if you have a proper idea, you can actually click on the artifacts and it will create for you. So this is one aspect that came up. Let's also, okay, get a little bit into the other thing, which is very important for us to cover up. Now let me actually get into a little bit into why the hiring agent. Here we will be talking about hiring agent, how it is there in it, but I'll try to also, I wanted to show you something that might help you to take away also. Let me do that one. So which building felt more natural for you? Like which I was trying to say. Like one is vibe coding we discussed today, like UI and user interface. Visual workflows we have discussed today, which is like integration automation. I try to mix the both. In visual workflow also you have vibe coding, which is like more talking to in the text. So which is one aspect which I'm now let me give in the building a production ready agents, which is one of the important topics. Here, when we are talking about the production ready agents, one of the important thing is that you should know the AI agents get killed in 2 months. OpenAI with the OpenAI bill. Because once you get the OpenAI bill, you understand that, okay, fine, whatever the AI agent which I'm building, which is not going to be helpful. Let me say my example. How do you calculate this one? That is also one thing which I was actually looking into it. Now I'll show you something which I was wanted to show you. You are able to see this API cost, right? Now, what is happening in the API cost? If you are actually like, I had an idea of using a digital wardrobe. In visual digital wardrobe, my idea is to generate images. If someone shares their selfie image, I want to generate images for their wardrobe they have. Maybe you have like 10 shirts, 10 different accessories, and then you have pants, trousers, you have all the things I wanted to generate and I wanted to charge them. Now I was thinking, okay, fine. A typical user, let's say there are like 100 users on a typical basis, they are using 100, 10 of the images. I wanted to use in terms of like which user I wanted to use it flat Gemini 3.1 because it was a very fancy for me. So I've done that. And when I looked into the cost, I was thinking 5,762 rupees. And if I want to see like what is it one image cost that comes, it's like 5 rupees 76 paise. And that's what I wanted to tell. Whatever the images that you're generating, ChatGPT, everything is subsidized. And now once I go backward and want to build some cost-effective model, that is a place where it gets very expensive. And you have to understand this very, very much as part of your explanation, which I wanted to clarify with you, is that it's easier to build a model, but to sustain someone is ready to pay it. So that is the reason where I'm trying to get you more details, saying that it's you need to understand that where exactly that model is coming on. This is one website which is there, which is going to help you in terms of giving you building, like how much API cost that you are going to give and other things. And why I wanted you to understand this one is like the major thing is the same thing, right? You have to know cost per run, input tokens. If one token, think in such a way that it's like one word. One word is equal to one token. How many words you are taking as input? Like for example, I gave 100 words to explain my scenario. Now output might be 10,000 words, which is not required for me. I need like 2 words or 3 words. But you have to understand that other person would love you to use 1,000 words. So he'll give you all the garbage. So you have to understand that when to limit, when not to limit. You have to explicitly mention it, saying that if the question is related to fact check, I'm not looking into like for example, if your explanation is only into fact check, I don't want you to give me all the random answers. I'm fine getting me the one answer right. So many a times that is what it's happening here. People like we are losing many tokens out of this in the major point where we are actually building where we are actually losing on that front. And I wanted to get that aspects very clear on this one so that we'll able to understand it. So let's get a little bit into the more detailing here so that you'll able to understand it more better. Now let's get into like what is the saving rules. Use the cheapest model wherever it is required. Try to see like where you can save the money. Why I wanted to say that okay, save the money. It's mainly because like you have to understand that you're not being paid for like for example best answer in the world, but you have to understand that you are paid for answer. If even though it's 99% right, it's okay. If the image is okay, decent-ish, I will able to the other person would be fine. So that is a place where I'll use a lower cost model rather than Gemini. I have to understand where is the rough rules, which models to use when. Now comes into use like one other important aspect that I wanted to help you out here is like what is the tolerate. So if you tell like mainly I wanted to say second thing you have to understand is the production in is latency. E and performance. Before that, E, like you have to understand if a person, if I say I'll generate an image in 10 minutes, will he be, even though it's a free model, will he be ready to wait? So user tolerates slow only. If you tell them what is happening, that is the reason why you see normally when you give a question and you saw the overall NA time, it took around 5 to 10 minutes of time. and you have to understand what exactly it's doing. Is it working? It's not. So that is the reason it's gives what it's reasoning. So it should think on that. So the first, set the target. Do not say fast. Say maybe P90, P50. That will tell you like P50 should be under 3 seconds. P95, it's like priority 95 should be under 10 seconds. Measure the real users. Second thing, like where you have to say, like second, always streamline your tokens. Understand how it is useful. And you have to show the progress and other things to the customer. And this is a place where I wanted to give you some real-time example. There was one of the founder is a product manager who does like who has this every 90 days he builds a product, like 30 days to building, 30 days to market, 30 days to understand how it is working on, and he goes with other. So he tries to go to Reddit, scrape the information, try to understand what is the problem. So what he has done, he identified that everyone stores like what does whenever he does the fitness, right, in Instagram, YouTube, you get a very good reel of specific uh, model, specific things that is been there. And when I wanted to say what specific things, you just understand that everyone wanted to understand, like, okay, I said this reel, but no one goes back to it. That is the biggest problem. And we have like 75% of our data sources of recordings, which no one visited it second time. That is a hard reality that we have. Now, what he has done, he said that I have an application I want to develop, and which he said that he already developed. It's in MVP stage. Our people are interested, where you can save your reels for shorts and TikTok videos of it. It will analyze the video and it will actually help you during the fitness. So it will able to show you, like if you say leg, today I'm concentrating leg, or today you're concentrating triceps, it will able to pull that certain videos and you can follow them. He said yes, and he tried to create a web page. He sent an invite only. 100 people invite, accepted. Out of 100, he mailed them saying that I'll give you lifetime access. Out of the three members replied him back, let me know. He said $59. One person paid, and within couple of weeks, other two also paid. Now, without any product, he got some money, and also he understood that there is a pain point. He stayed back couple of months, he built a product, he launched it, and there were 10 users, then 3 months of silence, but he used that 10 users to evolve the product. After 3 months of silence, then users started getting positive feedback. He tried to follow up with them, improve that. He got 100 users. Now he have 1,000 users. Paid customers paying $59, 5,600, $5,900, and he's getting a recurring revenue. So this is how the journey should be. So you have to understand you are solving any problem. It's not about vibe coding, it's about coding, it's about anything. But it's actually someone is ready to pay, or at least you will be ready to pay that. So now once you know the problem is real, then the next challenge is making the agent safe, reliability, and also production. So that is something you have to understand. And that is one aspect which I wanted you to also take away, that you need to understand that everything comes with a cost, and you need to plan that way. And let me share the drive link so that it's 6 o'clock, and people who want like I'll be taking more 5 to 10 minutes of time, open up with the questions, but let me complete it. Let me share you the webinar link, drive link, so that you can have handy for the PPT. So what there were like a couple of things that I wanted to continue. Lastly, like mainly like you have to understand majorly what is working for you, what is not working for you. And accordingly, you have to understand that if it is working for you, is it something that other people are ready to pay for it or not? And that is a place where I have a couple of mentors or other peoples who always say me that check with your customer at the initial phase. Don't go till last product and develop it and then wait to customer feedback. If you are building something, build from the day one. You try to get that information and you will able to do that, so that he will able to get you the information clearly and you can evolve it. If not, what happens? You build the product, you are in, like as I said, that there are thousands of products which are already in the market where people are not even utilizing. And that is a reason what's happening right now is that people are not paying, like Google Play and everywhere. There are apps, but no one uses on that. So lastly, which I wanted to showcase, maybe a couple of minutes of time. So this is the agent which I built, which is called iTeams OS, and which I started with a blank information on this, and we were actually like playing around it in such a way that I wanted to show, like I thought, like I've one of my friend reached out to me saying that, Akshay, I want like Zoho expense is charging too much to me, which is charging like 3 to 4 thousand per month, and most of the features I'm not utilizing. As a small firm with 10 members users, I want something very simpler one, and I want to utilize it very less. So we were discussing like, how do you create an effort and task rather than dashboard, a model that could be possible. So I said that, now can you, then I said about like, I need Zoho expense, Vapar. This is for the building which I use, but I was trying to say that, okay, fine, I'm building a, like Zoho sprints, Jira sort of model. And then we were building on the top of it, and I tried to give you some MVP. I tried to ask it to do it. Then it says that, okay, I'm able to do. Then it was asking me about the, what is the backend I have to use. Then I got stuck. I was like, okay, what should I do? Then I was looking into, okay, what type of backend I want. Then we were discussing, okay, fine, okay, they need some inputs, like where should I host? Where should actually the backend be there? Then we thought about, okay, now let's say like, how, where should I host? How do I do it? So at that point of time, I realized that you should know what is backend. Then I was doing a vibe coding and other aspects on the top. And then we built a product. Like I was the one who was building the product. But here the major thing which I wanted to showcase in this is that the product was evolving, like because I was learning in the go, I was talking to few people. I don't know what is a database that I could utilize, and that is a place where I learned that the database was important. Now the second question is like, okay, understanding it's important or not is okay, but I wanted to see like, okay, fine, if whatever is important, how to test it and what is the overall aspect. So I was talking to Cursor accordingly, and I gave it understandable, like saying that, okay, fine, which type of prompt, where the database need to be used. And also I try to like, these are the all the steps which I utilize for a couple of days. But I wanted to showcase one good prompt where you can utilize yourself. We were just looking into that, what are the passwords and other things, how do you integrate them, and a little bit about like Hostinger. I took a Hostinger website. I tried to see like MongoDB, how can I analyze? And everything was going one by one. At every point, wherever I had, like I tried to say that remove Superbase completely, add Node.js backend with Express server and use MongoDB Atlas because I was having a trouble with database. I was not able to manage it properly. And that is a point where I decided, let's not use Supabase because Supabase has its own restrictions and others. And that is a decision that came up over the period of time. Now, let me just share my screen so that what was the end output, which you can also look into it and you can test it. Now I've given it for the customers to test it and other aspects. Now let's go into this. I've shared you the drive link. Please have a look into that. So what I've done, I've built a complete end-to-end application which called iTeams OS, where you have signing. Now, for example, initially I thought you need a super admin for multiple tenants, member only access. What are the two important things for any manager or anyone to know? Like they need to understand that what they have worked on a daily basis and what type of tasks they were looking into it and what type of projects they were working. So this was one aspect came into picture. Is able to add new project and new team. Now I thought what type of roles could be possible, viewer, member and things. Now other things came into picture is like, okay, fine. This all are good. What about the admin and super admin? So super admin should able to add multiple companies. That is the reason where I was just looking like we can add companies so that it can run full-fledged product. Then we were looking into everything is white coded. Each one of this, I did not use a code. I don't know backend and anything. We were just playing around, learning. I spent some amount of money in this one, taking databases. I took Hostinger. In a Hostinger, I paid 1,000 rupees for a website. Then they wanted some server to host it. I took a server. So I was talking. I was talking to it. Like, where should I post? I was checking with few of my friends who know are coders. So I just said that this is something built. Now I know is any user is ready to use it is something. And similarly, I try to see like iBuilding OS is one more thing which I thought of building it. So things are moving forward. Now you get confidence, you do it. So now what I do, I don't try to build products. I also try to see like if these products are actually utilizing or not. If not, that becomes very difficult to justify. So I would like to end right now